Hi, I'm Will.
And I'm Succinct and Punchy.
And this is the last in our little mini-series on the history of Galaxy Trail prior to Freedom Planet. This is Christmas Time Heroes. And it is interesting. Very interesting.
It's truly the word.
It was made, much like Super XD Panic just before it, it was made for a contest of sorts. For a game jam kind of thing of sorts. It was made in about 30 days. Although that's somewhat misleading, because if I recall, the game itself is actually somewhat based on some old platformer engine that Strife was working on just a little beforehand. He eventually would rip out the assets from the original Time Heroes and kind of turn them into a Christmas-themed game, and so now we have little reindeer. And yeah, one of them has a red nose, and one of them does not. Apparently they use the red noses for brainwashing. This is Christmas Time Heroes.
Strife's writing, just, yeah. This is where you see where it comes from in Freedom Planet, right?
This is our main character, Indigo's son, I believe, and his movement is sort of kind of based on Mega Man, kind of. I don't think Mega Man has an air dash in some of the X games, but he might in some of the X games. I don't know. Either way, point is, he is the air dashy guy, and his sprites you can kind of see are sort of based on Mega Man X. The other character that we're not showing here, Violet Star,
sucks.
She is the Carol. She's the Carol of this game. That's right. She sucks. She is not very fast. She is kind of slow. She doesn't really deal damage especially well. She plays, like, that character is kind of an interpretation of Mega Man X, much like kind of how Carol is sort of like an interpretation of Mega Man X put in Freedom Planet's gameplay formula, and how that doesn't really work very well. So, yeah, so this is Indigo's son of the Spectrum Force. I don't think we have any backstory on these characters to share, unfortunately. Oh god, this game.
The writing is just something else, it really is. It's beautiful. The Spectrum Forces would later sort of like evolve into the Chaser thing from Freedom Planet 1 and would then be abruptly dropped from the second game because it's just a weird concept.
Yeah, yep, basically. Chaser, the idea of Chasers in itself was kind of a strange thing, and I don't know just how much of these ideas would later carry on into Freedom Planet. I know that some of what was the original Time Heroes game did carry on. Some of the sound effects, things like that, would later kind of make it into Freedom Planet.
You can definitely see how, like, Freedom Planet evolved out of this, because there's a lot of things about Christmas Time Heroes that are janky as shit that are not janky as shit in Freedom Planet, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, this was... Whereas Super XD Panic, which came just before this, was kind of Strife's attempt at more of a safe platformer and giving some polish to that. Here, Christmas Time Heroes is a much kind of riskier sort of game. There are more mechanics, the level design is a little bit more developed, there's a lot of verticality, also a lot of... they're basically just huge open spaces for the levels. So the design is just kind of riskier, and that got refined in Freedom Planet, so I guess in a sense it's good that this step existed. Even if it's a little bit questionably designed in some ways. Right, so we are in our first level of the game, and I just got stopped in midair due to trigger. And so our goal, there are 3 levels in each kind of world, or 3 missions in each level, you might say. And this first one, and the first one for the second level as well, is to deliver gifts. So we have to walk around and put gifts on these little pedestals by walking over them. In Christmas Time Heroes, the structure is basically that you have like a single level that you explore around in 3 different missions, and you go into a portal to enter a different mission, and you gain points from beating each mission, and as soon as you get enough points, you are able to advance to the next one. I'm not really sure how possible it is to, like, not get enough points to advance. getting stuck on this booster. So, yeah, I'm questioning the point of the structure of the game. It's already quite repetitive on content, just because of the fact, of the fact, by the way, I can do this in sub 1 minute. It's possible. I have done it.
Don't brag, man. Sorry, I like barely stifled laughter at that fucking victory animation because I completely forgot about it.
Oh yeah, the Sailor Moon thing.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's real good.
This game rules. Okay, explain the interface because I like specifically the bottom left because I completely forget how this game works.
Okay. So, you have the life meter, which is the lower meter among those 2 meters. You have the I don't remember what it's called exactly. It's like a stardust meter or something like that, I think.
That sounds believable enough.
And by the way, I'm skipping to the 3rd mission here, even though it says we're on the 2nd mission. I'm skipping to the 3rd mission because I don't want to do the 2nd, because the 2nd is repetitive, and this 3rd mission is the boss mission. So we're gonna like go through gates and stuff like that. So the interface, the health meter is the bottom one, and the top one is the stardust, and that allows us to boost, but it also allows us to heal. Because in Christmas Time Heroes, you are able to press Q at any time, as long as you have Stardust, to heal health. And this is an interesting mechanic, but it makes for some very questionable design later in the game. And it can make certain boss fights last very, very frustratingly long. As for the other element, the lightning bolt that you see there, that's our weapon. So this is a little bit like Gunstar Heroes, where you pick up weapon upgrades, and the weapon types themselves are kind of Gunstar Heroes inspired. There's one that shoots slow and has heavy hits. There's one that shoots fast, and like this, we can kind of aim it at an angle. There's a flamethrower one. But the optimal way to deal damage to bosses here, which I'm doing, is to kind of just stand under them and then like occasionally boost when it's safe and shoot at the same time, because if you boost and shoot, Indigo will actually aim behind him, so you can stack lots of damage, because these bosses have basically no invincibility. That said, you also have basically no invincibility. It's very, like, the window for getting hit again is probably like, I don't know, like 5 frames, whereas in a lot of games it's more like a second or 2 seconds.
Dude, he even has like a different sprite for when he's like low on health. He has like sad eyebrows.
Yeah, he does. And as well as that, you get to hear like a really obnoxiously loud heartbeat sound.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I like the Christmas bells during the boss theme as well. Like this it really unabashedly runs with the theme. Like, it's completely shameless and it's kind of cool.
It's really silly. And actually the song that plays for the boss fights, right, is I believe it's like an evil version, like a boss fight version of Little Drummer Boy, I think, is the song, which is a common Christmas tune.
I love it. I love just how sincerely fucking dumb it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I like how kind of seriously the plot kind of takes itself. Like, these are like serious soldiers. Like, okay, this is kind of like Freedom Planet's thing too, right? Where we're dealing with like armies and shit.
Yeah, it's
like,
it's so silly though. It's so silly.
It's so silly, but the sincerity, and look at this. It's like it's really easy to get stuck on taking damage, and those like little droplet things right there, their active frames are so much longer than they appear to be. Taking damage in this, okay, look, what's happening?
What?
Stop! He just keeps reappearing. I had to keep that. I don't know. That's not even the first time that's happened to me. I'm not sure what causes that bug. It wastes a lot of time, but I'm not sure what causes it. I think it's like they somehow don't fully collide with the ground, so they kind of fall down. But if they fall down, they're like told to reappear back where their spawn point was. But if their spawn point was like already slightly below the ground, they just keep kind of reappearing slightly below the ground and then fall again. So yeah, we've gathered some key cards here, and now we can move on to the rest of this level. And I'm actually gonna show a death. I didn't want to show deaths for the most part, but I think this death is an exemplary kind of death on how you tend to die in Christmas Time Heroes, which is lots of things just kind of happen, and it's like, oh god, help, 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 please, and you just can't really, like I'm unable to cope. I got hit like 2 times in midair by that bubble, because it bounced off me, right? And then it like did its active frame thing where it turned into a splash. Oh god, I really hate that enemy.
This is peak video game.
Yes.
This is traffic light enemies.
Those stoplight enemies are actually kind of similar to another enemy type we see in Freedom Planet. They share a sound effect as well.
The green blobs look like they're pretty much the same thing in Freedom Planet.
Yeah, and actually, as I recall, those sprites even kind of are reminiscent of some stuff from Super XD Panic, so it even goes back further than that.
Good lord. Good lord.
I know, right?
What a starred history.
Yeah, no, there has been so much history to these games. So we're going into Mission 3 right now. We're skipping
all of it
here.
Buried under, like, Strife's user page on whatever the hell website you get this off.
Yeah, the Daily Click.
The Daily Click, that's the one.
So yeah, we're just gonna skip right to the second boss fight, because I didn't feel like doing the level again. Apparently it's a trap, and yeah, we're about to get to our favorite line here. I'm not sure exactly when it is, but I kind of want to just wait. But okay, like listen.
Drama.
I know, right? Like he's like they're gonna betray you. Like why? Why is this so serious?
It is so serious. Deck the halls with your blood.
Leave now,
I love
or we'll
it.
deck the halls with your blood. That is, like, hands down the best line in this game.
It's the best line in any video game, I think you'll find. That's not it, is it? That's my favourite. When people think of famous lines in video games, I will always tell them that one, and then they'll look at me like I'm a fucking mad person.
So yeah, here's a hot trick. That attack thing drains all your Stardust, so once you finish all the Fawnful, the red noses here, as they are, it's best to heal, and then after that you'll be able to do your thing. So I sped this part up because this boss fight is like absurdly repetitive. This guy is really beefy, and it really just consists of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
It's kind of a broad issue with this game in general, which is that things sort of just take too many hits to kill on average.
Yeah, and that's gonna be especially evident when we get to the game's final boss. So I just kind of like teabag the guy on the train here.
Like, it's hard to explain when I say things take too many hits, but there's a sort of rhythm to this, and Christmas Time Heroes really fucks with my rhythm.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because you still kind of get that, like, sensation of it being, like, a sort of Gunstar Heroes-esque inspired game, which Freedom Planet also is.
Definitely.
But, like, Gunstar Heroes has very well-paced bosses. This game didn't quite hit that mark, and then Freedom Planet was like, oh, you know, I get how to do it now. I get kind of the amount of damage bosses, the amount of health bosses should have. I think that removing the self-healing mechanic was a good idea, because it really gives you way too much to think about when the bosses get too hectic.
Yeah.
But
like,
yeah.
You try and heal, you get smacked around, you try and heal, you get smacked around, and it kind of just goes in a loop.
Yeah, exactly. And it's especially frustrating because your movement technique, you know, your ability to go fast, like, will limit your ability to heal, and so, like, those two things are just sort of mutually exclusive, and I'm not a huge fan of that. It's not like Doom, where like new Doom, for example, where going fast and healing are, like, you know,
one and the same.
They're kind of part of the same thing. Yeah.
It's not holistic. You have to, like, make a decision. It's not like an interesting strategic decision. It's like an, oh shit, I healed, now I cannot move.
Yeah, exactly. I think I have to give credit for trying, like, risky things, right? And Strife with Freedom Planet 2 is going and trying kind of new risky things with health systems and life systems by that kind of get-up mechanic that he's implementing. So I give a lot of respect to him for being willing to challenge old kind of standard video game design kind of conventions.
Yeah, all these games have kind of weird health bar, life bar systems, and, like, they're not always fantastic, but, like, they're certainly different.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the North Pole. I'm actually not showing a lot of it, but this level is really, like, fantastically obnoxious if you don't know what you're doing. Those spinny blade guys I just went past, they will, after a short period of time, start moving again. And if you happen to not kind of slip by them quick enough, you'll get smacked around a whole bunch, and your invincibility frames really won't last long enough, and you can actually get killed off of just getting stuck inside them. So this song sounds a lot like it's from Sonic the Fighters. Can you confirm that?
It's definitely not from Sonic the Fighters.
Okay. Like, some of the synths in it remind me of Sonic the Fighters, so I wasn't sure.
Definitely not.
Okay.
I know that game soundtrack pretty well.
But yeah, here's this annoying enemy. You have to, like, just slowly duck and wait, and, like, as long as you can see steam coming out of it, it'll hurt you. But it's like, that's like, the sprite is so tiny that it seems like it shouldn't. It's just kind of, you know, like, little minor niggles
and
about
this is
hitboxes.
just a cluster. There's so many things.
Yeah, there are just so many things here, and it's so hard, it's so easy to get just caught up and stuck in them.
I hear what you mean when you say the synths remind you of Sonic the Fighters, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, we finally made it to the final boss. This is Lord Sled.
You skipped the dialogue.
And unfortunately, I skipped his little intro, but,
It contains a completely insane revelation.
That's right, it does. So I'll have to explain it here. So, Lord Sled, basically, he says that this entire planet is made up, like, he like, took the memories of Christmas out of Indigo Sun's head and, like, transplanted them onto the planet.
I love it.
Like, and he asks, why do you think that these aliens celebrate a human holiday? And he's like, I mean, okay.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic. This also shows, like, Strife's weird writing penchant for, like, completely fucking insane last-minute twists that don't make any sense.
And it's, I think it's even funnier too when, like, he's gone through this speech, and then the guy just jumps in the air and then dashes at you like a madman.
Yeah, you're fighting Santa Claus. It's hard. This is hard.
This boss fight is hard, like, really hard.
You make it look pretty easy.
Yeah. Super XD Panic has, like, an okay kind of boss fight, but this is like harder than Brevin. Also,
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
look at this. Look at this tiny space you have to maneuver in. This is also why this sucks major balls with the other character, because she can't dash.
Right. So if she falls off the platform, done. That's it. You're basically, like, screwed.
Even so, you're using the dash to, like, dodge the attacks and all that stuff, whereas you kind of have to just move,
walk
and out of the way.
Yeah, and it's just not enough. It's
really hard. Like, I think both of us had the misfortune of playing her for a first time through, and it's just... God.
Oh, she's so bad. Indigo Sun is so much better.
Indigo's weapons are better as well. Like, Indigo's got the flamethrower here, which, like, does a pretty good number on everything, whereas, you know, Violet doesn't... She doesn't get those.
Yeah, the thing about the flamethrower as well is that it has a lot of active frames that kind of stay on the ground. So if you shoot and then jump, the flamethrower will still stay on the ground. You'll still be able to hit the guy while still being able to dodge him safely. So yeah.
I like the teabagging.
Yeah, I'm just kind of dancing because because I was really irritated with this guy. Even in this playthrough, I think I died him like 3 times because he's just so hard. It's
hard.
He's, like, so fast, and it's so easy for things to go wrong. Like, that's really what this game is like, is that...
Defenseless, he tried to murder you, mate. This is bull.
Is that it's just so easy. It's just so easy in this game for things to go horribly wrong so fast, and you just can't stop it. But yeah. Oh, nice text box. Graphical error. Oh, boy. Be Santa Claus. Show them kindness and good spirits.
I mean, like, this game's kind of a rare specimen for being, like, a totally Christmas... Like, there actually aren't many of those.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because Lord Sled came from an idea that would, like, later evolve into Brevin. Like, if he seems anything like Brevin, that's because he is. Like, he's, like, sort of a prototypical...
Like, there's a lot in this game that later evolved into Freedom Planet, which is baffling because you put the two side by side, they're, like, completely unrecognizable. But if you kind of get into the design headspace, there's a lot that logically follows, and it's very surreal.
they do feel similar, in spite of the fact that this is a very unpolished game, and Freedom Planet is a very polished game. But yeah, that was that was Christmas Time Heroes. We beat Lord Sled. We got points.
That was
did
not
it
like the
fast.
whole game. We kind of like cut down a lot of it.
Oh yeah,
because the whole game was like an hour.
It's
more.
like, oh man, it's like maybe I can squeeze it into like 30 minutes or so, but there's just so much there. It's really difficult.
A lot of it kind of repeats content as well, so
yeah, it's really repetitive. When you're playing it, it's okay. This would not be the first of Strife's kind of freeware back catalog that I recommend. I'd probably recommend Super XD Panic. But this is an interesting game, and for what it's worth, when you get good at it, it actually sort of starts to become fun. Like, if you kind of casually speedrun it, and you kind of know the mechanics, you understand the level design, it actually sort of becomes fun. But yeah, that's...
Happy holidays, nerds, even though it's like September. Can we wait to release this video until it's Christmas?
No.
Bye, folks!